We all know this man.
We got a special guest in the building.
Yes, sir.
Nipsey Hussle.
He was making millions.
It feel good as an artist for people to appreciate your art. You know what I mean? Whoever it is. If it's somebody be like, man, that shit changed my life, bro, or if it's the Grammy.
His rap game was off the charts. He was pretty close with Snoop Dogg, John Legend, Wiz Khalifa, you name it.
Breaking down the switch in front of your feeling. Sitting on the steps feeling no feeling. Last night it was...
Rapping was his hustle, but he was beyond that. Nipsey transformed everything he touched. The man was a real hero. He grew up in the 60s.
Shout out to y'all, this your boy, neighborhood Nip Hussle. That was just my new single, Hussle in the House. Y'all got the sneak preview. Street classic, it been certified on.
An area in South Central LA, the crack epidemic was in full swing. Shootings, gang activity, all these things were pretty common.
Hey, y'all, this your boy, Nipsey Hussle. We right here live and direct on Slauson with the Slauson boy. With the hood knows how to streets.
When he started making money, he reinvested it into his neighborhood. He opened up a clothing store on Crenshaw. He could have easily picked a better, richer neighborhood, but he wanted to support his people, give them jobs, keep them from being homeless.
Things that you sacrifice. This is what life is all about.
So what's happening? Firstborn, man.
He laid the blueprint on how to build an empire from the ground up. But what a lot of people don't know is Nipsey was the face and voice.
What's your name, man? You new and upcoming, but you're at this summit. What's your name? Where you from?
My name Nipsey Hussle. I'm from LA, Slauson and Crenshaw area.
But Blacc Sam has always been the brains behind everything. Blacc Sam is to Nipsey what Slim is to Baby.
I get a lot of my team credit. You know, they put me in the front and they let me be the one that take all the credit, but it's not always me. You know what I'm saying? Like, my brother, Blacc Sam, he's a monster.
You can see him flexing his money, living the good life. Nice cars, great condo, everything you could ever want, all in one place. If you're from Los Angeles, you already know Blacc Sam took over Hussle's legacy and is working to take it to a whole new level. As a teenager, Blacc Sam was making $700K a year. At one point, he was making $2,500 a day, $1,500 on a slow day.
I'm looking at if I'm not there, I'm losing $2,500 or $1,500 on a slow day. So Motion Picture Association ended up coming in trying to...
Damn. He's the perfect example of don't judge a book by its cover. But how did he do it? How did he find a way out? It's about time that people got to know Blacc Sam's true story. Here's how it all started. DVDs came out in 1996, but it took a couple of years for people to get a player at home. By 2007, about 80% of American families had a DVD player at home, but it wasn't cheap. It cost $20 on average to buy a DVD movie and almost $25 for a Blu-ray, sometimes $30 or $40. Multi-disc box sets with a bunch of special features could be anywhere from $80 to $150, depending on the title and box. Money was already tight. It was normal to go on the hunt for discount bins or a good sale. The minimum wage at the time was $6 to $7 an hour. You'd have to work a lot to buy a normal disc. It just wasn't worth it. So people in the hood found another way to make cash. Where Sam and Nipsey grew up, a lot of families lived on welfare. That's when bootleg DVDs became super popular. The average price at the time was about $5. So it was only logical that people would go for the cheaper option, even if it was illegal. Sam saw it as an opportunity waiting to happen. There was this big hole in the market waiting to be used. He and his brother were gonna get their hands on it. The thing is, Sam didn't want to be involved in gangs. He didn't like it. Instead, as a kid, Sam would go out and make his own cash, little by little. At first, he was washing cars. He would take odd jobs here and there. Eventually, he started hustling for real. From being shot at by the police to selling t-shirts out of his trunk, he was able to buy a storefront on the corner of the streets of Crenshaw and Slauson. This is how it happened. One day, Nipsey was heading back from Alexander Hamilton High School. The family used to have a computer, but it broke. Nipsey wanted it back. He started collecting computer magazines and learning how he could use the parts to build one from scratch. He collected some scrap pieces he found, brought them back home, and put everything together. Sam thought it was a stupid idea at first. The room got messy, and he liked to keep his stuff clean. That's because Sam and Nipsey shared a bedroom. They argued for hours about who was gonna clean it up. At first, Sam and Nipsey took a bet. Sam said that Nipsey would never be able to put it back together, but after more than 2 weeks passed, Sam was finally able to see the finished product. The computer was working smoothly. The software was good, nothing too fancy, but it was working. They could finally record some mixtapes on it.
A long time ago, when he was in high school, he actually built the computer, young, with the burner in it, and was showing me. I was like, man, he's bringing backpacks full of equipment.
He stole computer parts. And then he bring it in the bedroom. We share the bedroom. I'm like, bro, get this shit up out of here, man. I'm clean. I want my shit clean.
Right.
It all started from here. Nipsey's first rap songs would be the stepping stone to an opportunity that would change their lives forever. When it comes to Sam, he tasted money for the first time when he was washing cars. He knew he didn't want to be a worker and scrap for stuff every month. He wanted to become a boss. The first step, start saving. It cost about $700 to get one burner. People had just transitioned from VHS to DVDs. So a lot of people didn't have any DVDs at home. They heard about it, but had yet to buy it. Counterfeit DVDs flooded the market. Hundreds of thousands of people could watch the same movie for the price of a single ticket. This hurt many studios and big corporations who were losing a ton of money. In the early 2000s, US movie studios were losing about $6.1 billion a year to piracy. In 2003, Pirate Bay launched and became a worldwide sensation. It became that much easier to build a library of movies and series people would like to watch. Sam and Nipsey started making counterfeit DVDs. Nipsey introduced them to the game. He showed them how it worked and what to do. They were making a lot of money, but the stakes were also higher. Because of the reduction in revenue, some companies filed for bankruptcy. The police wasn't staying quiet either. There was a peddler unit that arrested people for everything from pirated DVDs to fake Rolex watches, chains, Gucci bags, luxury clothes, and so on. They confiscated hundreds of thousands of dollars worth in stock, leaving them with significant losses. Some ended up in jail. It was a massive war on piracy. People would get arrested for setting up movie pirating servers, selling their DVDs on the street without a permit, and not paying taxes. It was easy to track down anyone in the nearby area who was selling these things. Sam and Nipsey were no exception. They too were harassed by the police. They were one of the biggest distributors of bootleg DVDs, not just in their neighborhood, but the entire country.
Was set up right here. Probably like 3 days in a row, police came, pulled up, took all our shit. We went back, read up. They pulled up again, took all our shit. The third time they put us in cuffs. Put me in cuffs, put Fats in cuffs.
They were making one DVD for $1 and made a steady customer base with a solid profit margin. It took off from there. At one point, they were allegedly making $700,000 a year, $2,500 on a good day, and $1,500 on a slow day. They had losses from time to time.
$2,500, $3,500 a day, 7 days a week, non-stop, all day long. Then I had people buying wholesale from me.
Especially when cops seized their merchandise. But Sam knew they couldn't keep it up forever. Netflix came out, Hulu, Disney Plus. Being the businessman that he is, Sam saw it as an opportunity, so he decided to quietly build his own portfolio. He invested in real estate in both Atlanta and LA. He thought this would be the key to success and secure him a stable income for the years to come. But not everything went according to plan. His fortune took a nosedive when the feds put a target on a successful DVD business for counterfeit products and seized his real estate holdings because of it. The Motion Pictures Association opened up a case on Sam. He took out everything out of the houses, anything that might have been held against him. He took the money out and he had no other choice but to hide it. Apparently, by the time Sam was 18, he made so much money on the streets that he decided to bury $250,000 in his mom's backyard. He put it all in a safe and wrapped it up in plastic. Each bulk of $1,000 looked like sandwich bags. He sealed it with a rubber band and dug a hole around 6 feet deep. He kept it there for over a year. When Nipsey did an interview with The Breakfast Club, he said that by the time they dug it up, more than $100,000 of the money was ruined because of the mold. The safe was filled with water. That was the first time ever when Sam had an actual breakdown. He was just sitting there, staring at the cash, finding it hard to breathe. He took out everything, put it in a duffel bag, and tried to save as much as he could. The money was falling apart. It was ruined. He and his brother tried to salvage it by pulling them apart little by little, but it wasn't that easy. The molds had already got to it. They lost a lot of money. $50,000 was just gone. More than $100,000 had holes in it. The colors were faded, barely usable. Nipsey even raps about it on one of his tracks. This is from young, ballin' since my brother used to hustle out the vines. Couple $100,000 up, he took a shovel to the lawn. No exaggeration for the content of my songs. When he went to dig it up, 100-something gone, molded. You can ask moms. Had to plug in blow dryers for the ones we could wash. A little bit. Despite it all, Sam kept coming back. He chased his dreams and never gave up. He kept doing what he did best and continued to work 7 days a week on his empire. He was gonna win no matter what. From all his tracks, we can see that Sam was a big inspiration to Nipsey. He always had his back, taught him a lot of things, and helped him with the business. As a young adult, Sam bought his mom a Benz and his father a Range Rover, all while hustling and staying under the radar. But because Nipsey had a complicated history with the Rolling 60s Crip gang, Sam also had plenty of run-ins with the law. The gang was big even before Nipsey joined the ranks. The gang originated in the 70s as a clique of Stanley Tookie Williams' gang, the West Side Crips. They had a big territory from Slauson Ave to Florence Ave, between Western Ave and around Crenshaw Boulevard. They were also under the Neighborhood Crips and Rollin' O's umbrella. They're one of the fiercest and most infamous black gangs in the Crenshaw Hyde Park region of LA. You can see them wearing baseball caps with the letter S on them as a symbol for 60s Crip. Young teenagers who joined the ranks mostly went to Westchester High School and Crenshaw High School. Police reports estimate that the gang has anywhere from 6,000 to 8,000 members, making it the biggest known group of black Americans in all of LA County. At one point, things got complicated. The A-Tray Gangsta Crips in the rolling 60s turned from allies to enemies by the mid-80s. This rivalry caused one of the biggest bloodsheds in the area, affecting other gangs nearby. Allegiances started to form. More deaths and casualties followed. The gang was responsible for putting hustling on the map. People were making a lot of money, holding businesses, and taking it to a corporate level. They were literally able to build a legacy in their area. Nipsey joined the gang when he was 14 years old. In an interview, he opened up about it. He had many reasons that led up to it. He left home at 14 to live with his grandmother. He was also hustling to make money. He saw a lot of violence and lost many friends. He said he eventually got involved with the gang before he joined it himself. None of his family members were part of the gang before that. His father came from Africa, and his mother just grew up in the area. His uncle was a hustler and musician, so neither side of his family was actually affiliated with the 60s gang.
Yeah, I was out of my mom's house, you know what I'm saying? I went to live with my granny when I was 14, and I was doing things to try to get money.
Nipsey said he did everything he could to try and make a lot of money. He always wanted to do music and be able to support himself. And because he was frustrated with not having an outlet, studio, or access to any of the things he needed, he joined the gang. Plus, the culture of the area he grew up in was heavily influenced by the gang. Since he too was hustling, spending a lot of time outside, hanging out with people who knew how to get things done, it was easy for him to get into it. Many of his friends were shot at, getting jumped, beaten. He grew up in an area where you're either with me or you're not, so it doesn't matter whether you've officially joined a gang. When you stand up for someone, you eventually get drawn into it. You are young, eager to make money, want to hang out with the people you grew up with, the people you call brothers. Eventually, you become part of the same gang. It's only natural. After some time, things got ugly. That was prophecy.
Starving artists ain't my style, that shit'll drive me insane. Gave my mind to these millions and my heart to the gang. Probably die up in these streets, but I survived through my name.
On March 31st, 2019, Nipsey was murdered in cold blood by Eric Ronald Holder Jr. The two used to be in the same gang, riding like brothers, but Holder left the gang behind. Then, things got heated and Nipsey called him a snitch. Holder shot Nipsey just outside his clothing store. The empire that he tried so hard to build with his brother, it was a calculated murder.
And this particular individual, everybody knew dude was a rider. You know, they knew he was about that life. You know, you can't call a dude a snitch in his face and expect him not to respond.
Sam talks about the last interaction he ever had with Nipsey before he was killed. He said his brother was happy. He was going to do big things. He was going to be in movies. His goal was to open 10 marathon stores.
Visionary, like he wanted to eventually have 10 marathon stores.
But all his hopes and dreams were crushed, just like that.
Small time, and after this, going out the roof, and so, you know, we was all happy. And
Blacc Sam knew that his brother had snakes around his neck. They were just waiting for the right opportunity to strike. Holder saw a chance and took it. The day Blacc Sam learned about it, he remembered his phone going off like crazy. People were calling him nonstop. He was woken up by it. He doesn't remember who called him, but remembers people screaming in the background. Someone said, "Your brother got shot," and that was it. His heart sank. He ran out of the house. His grandmother was in the living room at the time, watching TV, and saw him run out. He didn't close the door. He just got in the car and drove off. The shooting was 6 blocks away. He ran every light, every stop sign to get to him, but it was already too late. It was a hard blow to the entire family. Everyone was devastated. Before it all went down, he and his brother were doing great. They were shining. Business was booming. The genius it took for them coming from a low-income community to succeed like that and rise through the ranks, it takes guts, skill, resilience, perseverance. When you have that much untapped potential, it's normal for people to get jealous. It's that much easier to make enemies. Blacc Sam later talks about what happened the day of the shooting. From his understanding, a boy walked into the parking lot before the shooting took place to check the scene. That boy knew what was going on. He made some small talk, probably to see if there was anybody there, checked the place out, and left. Then, the same boy came back with a red shirt on. Then came the shooting. According to Blacc Sam, this was a clear sign that everything was premeditated. You can't just walk around the alley with a red shirt on. So it was obvious that the boy had a role to play. He was passing on a message. The message was loud and clear. He was supposed to wear the red shirt the first time he came to the parking lot, but he didn't. He was scared. He checked the place out to see if anyone was there. When he was sure it was okay, he came back with the red shirt on. Someone sent him to do it. After Nipsey's death, Blacc Sam took over his brother's legacy. He's now the executive for All Money In Records and the Marathon clothing brand. He's making millions, but I'm sure he would give it all up just to see his brother again.
You know, he loved everybody, and he loved who he grew up with, where he grew up, and just wanted to inspire.
Blacc Sam said that no matter what happens from this day forward, Nipsey's kids will have their own money. He made sure to make it happen.
Yeah. How important is that as opposed to Lisa?
For me, it's important. When I say we own it, it's in Hussle kids' names and they trust funds. So when they get older, this is something that their father worked for and that they own. So that's important for me. And then also having brick and mortar and the reinforced with Hussle taught us through the ups and downs of whatever with business or brands.
And that is the story of Blacc Sam. Once broke, now a pillar of a community. He did everything he could in a hard neighborhood, but every time he got back up, he was stronger, more resilient, more powerful. He turned every obstacle into a lucrative opportunity and never slowed down.